if that's possible for me. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if I have the capabilities of doing a straight talk show. I don't know if it's in my nature. I just don't know if I have those abilities. What I asked was, Bush keeps referring to a new world order. So I asked, what do you think? I like the idea of a world order. Right now, we live in a world that has no order at all. I like the idea of a world order. I think that's a great idea. I really do. Really do. Some sort of order. I like that. That sounds good. Also, what else? We were talking about. We have a lot of protesters out there. You know, a lot of people pro-war, anti-war. Now we're at war right now. It's happening. How do we get out of it? How do you see this war ending? How do we get out of it? How can we end this thing quickly? What do we do? Simple. That's all we're doing tonight. Real simple. To the phones we go. Also, something else I mentioned. I have an article in front of me that I picked up. It's talking about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is this Sunday. Great. I love Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday is a holiday to me. It's a holiday. I look forward to it. Get the grill out, and you make a big deal of it. And plus, they have two good teams, two new teams this year. That is a thrill. I like that a lot. That makes me real happy. I think it's going to be an enjoyable Super Bowl this Sunday. I am glad the 49ers lost. I'm real happy about it. Made my day. But it talks about the security in Tampa. No cameras are allowed inside. Headset radios, bottles, cans. No cameras, television sets, umbrellas. They're putting up a new 6-foot fence outside the already existing fence for a buffer zone. Metal detectors. They're putting up 500 police officers will be around that day. They're taking every precaution because they think that will be a likely target. That's too bad. But maybe we should just ban all spectators. Maybe we should just have absolutely no visitors at all. Let's really make sure nothing happens. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Mark. Hey, Mark, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, Dave, what's going on?
Hey, Mark, just doing my job, Mark.
Dave, I'm losing my mind.
Why is that, Mark?
I'm always the topic guy on your show, right?
Right.
All right, I've been following this stuff since back to last June.
Right.
And then, of course, it makes big news in August. But by now, you talk about beating a dead dog.
Right.
What more can be said?
Oh, I agree. I feel like we're rehashing the same stuff that was rehashed 3 days ago. There's nothing new to be said.
The media is just going wild on something that really, after Wednesday night or Thursday night when this first happened, after about 2 days of that, it's just getting down to business for the military.
Right.
And the press field day is over.
Right.
But
I heard on the Wes Minner show, somebody called in Wes, and they said, could you imagine the coverage on the Vietnam War for 17 years, the coverage that we have right now? He said, right now, if that were to have happened, we'd all be crazy. We'd be insane.
Well, see, that's one lesson we really did learn.
Mm-hmm.
There won't be near the coverage on this war as there were in Vietnam for a bunch of reasons. But enough is enough, Dave.
Enough is enough.
This Super Bowl, this is the news.
So what hint are you giving me, Mark? What are you saying?
Dave, to start with, this is the wrong time slot.
For news?
This is the wrong time slot for doing this every night. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2 nights out of the week would be good. But
well, this is the first day I've been here. I've been on the show for I wasn't here since when? I can't even remember when.
Yeah.
Wednesday night or something.
But, there aren't exactly a lot of experts out there.
No, but it's on everybody's mind, Mark.
Well, is that necessarily good to hear this, though? I've heard everything from...
So what are you saying, Mark? You think I should just change the subject somehow and get on to something else?
WSB is on 24 hours.
Right.
You work for 5 hours.
Right.
I think we can get by with 19-hour coverage on the war. What do you think? I'm going to have to call your boss. I got some contacts down there.
Do you? You're right.
Well, I got you your job, right?
You what?
I got you your job, right?
Right, Mark.
So, you know, about the Super Bowl.
About the Super Bowl.
The real news this week.
Mm-hmm.
Start with, this isn't a real Super Bowl. You have two teams from New York playing.
Right.
So you're going to get a lot of women down there with hairy armpits and missing teeth, and, you know, it's just going to be sick. And those will be mothers, you know. Their daughters will be dating their cousins, and you'll have taxi cabs out there full of, well, you know, how New York is. Mm-hmm. But what you people need to look for, if you want to be able to pick a winner, right? Everybody's got these little office pools operating.
Right.
The last 24 Super Bowls played, the team that has rushed for the most yardage has won 21 of the 24 Super Bowls.
So you saying Buffalo's going to win?
Can Buffalo run on the New York Giants?
Can they?
Can they?
I think they're going to run all over them.
Dave?
I think, well, Buffalo's good. But I think the Giants will win. But Buffalo, they score more points running, don't they?
There's something you got to keep in mind is the New York Giants just held the San Francisco 49ers to, 12 points? 13 points, somewhere in there?
Right, well, 49ers have been slipping the last few weeks.
Well, that's the most high-powered offense the NFL has seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. And if the Giants can stop the 49ers, this is something you got to keep in mind. They saw the 49ers. That was the second time they saw them, and they beat them.
Right.
They lost the first time. It's the second time they saw Buffalo. They lost to them the first time they played. And, hey, you know, I don't know if this Super Bowl is going to be as black and white as the rest of them, but it probably won't be close.
You don't think it'll be close?
No. The Bills will be turnover-plagued. They'll be happy to be there.
Right.
The Giants will be there to win their second one in the last, 5 years.
I was listening to you hear the pep talk the Giants coach was giving them. They were saying that the pep talk he was telling his team was that the 49ers
had already moved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had already set up offices in Tampa.
That's as bad as some of the propaganda the Iraqis are putting out.
You don't believe that, huh?
No, that didn't happen. No. The 49ers, they are the best team the NFL's ever seen.
Right.
And, you know, can you blame them?
So, well, we used to
were 8.5
we used to say the same. We used to say the same thing about Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well,
they were the best.
Pittsburgh back then, that was before, you know, there wasn't a lot going on back then. Mm-hmm. I mean, after all, the Bee Gees were big back then, so they were also considered pretty popular also.
Right.
So, you know, it's a different era now. People are more educated.
Right. Right, Mark. All right, Mark.
So, Dave, you going to change the topic?
Mark, I wish I could.
I want to find out if anybody will eat a bowl of crickets for $40,000.
Yeah. See you later, Mark.
See ya.
See you, Mark. Back to the phones. Let's go to Ron. Hey, Ron, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Yes, sir, David. I'd like to talk to you about the world order, you said?
Go ahead. Yeah, that's what Bush keeps referring to it, a world order, right?
Right. I think that's what we need today, because
so do I.
If we had a world order and, you know, everybody keeps their own borders and everything, that we can start addressing other problems like the pollution in the world.
I agree. Wait, turn your radio down. Turn your radio down. Can you turn your radio down, Ron?
Okay.
You're right. You're right. Because what good does it do for us to set standards on pollution, air pollution,
right,
when the country right next to us has absolutely no standards at all, or 80% of the world has no standards at all? You know, we may be doing our part, but everybody else, who cares? So we have to have standards we all live by if we want to do something about it.
Right. We're going to have a world order, and have every country agree on that, because look at our rainforest. They're depleting. I think it's like 1 acre per second.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that was on CNN or Discovery. I saw that on one of them channels.
Sure.
And it's not only that, the overfishing of the oceans and everything. And unless we have a world order,
I agree. I like order. I like living in a civilized state, a civilized country. I like to live in a civilized world, and I like order. I think order is to be commended.
Right.
And I don't know what Bush has in mind when he's referring to it, but I like the idea of order.
And that's the only way we're going to achieve that.
Right. Thanks for the call, Ron.
Thank you.
See ya. Let's go to Spence. Hey, Spence, you're on AM-750 WSB.
How's it going?
Good, Spence.
Well, okay, you know, I think Bush is trying to get credit for this name, New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on the back of a $1 bill, a $1 bill, it says Novo, something like Novus Ordo Seclorum.
Right, right.
That means New World Order.
Okay. Well, maybe he's the one that wants to put it in motion.
Well, okay, a few months ago, me and some of my friends, we had this other idea for a different kind of New World Order. And what everyone would do is we'd all move out in the woods and raise our own food and have no pollution at all. And no problems, no war or anything, you know?
Right.
I mean, the Indians lived here for, what, thousands and thousands of years. They didn't need any of that stuff.
Right. And they didn't damage the environment like we are.
No, we moved in and just kind of massacred their butts.
No, we're in the last 100 years, we're moving pretty fast. I mean, the whole world we're moving fast, faster than we've ever moved.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks...
That's why we need order. We need order. And I think Bush keeps saying this New World Order and this problem with Iraq and this New World Order. And I'm just wondering what he has in mind. But I like the idea of a world with order.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is kind of like what, you know, the Pat Robertson crowd's been talking about.
No, they're afraid of the one world government, right? Well, I don't know if it's the same or not. I don't know what Bush has in mind. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Kip. Hey, Kip, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, David.
Hey, Kip.
I'm first caller.
Good. I'm glad to have you.
First of all, I'm 22 years old. I'm a senior at Georgia State. I'm a journalism major.
Okay.
And Spence is clueless. But anyway, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Why do people from the Middle East, why do Arabs, Palestinians, whatever you want to call them, why do they come here in the first place?
For education.
Okay, what other reason?
To learn, to prosper, get rich.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the caller earlier who said he was from the Middle East, and I've seen on the news, they're talking to the Palestinian Americans. They're like, yeah, I support America, but I also support Saddam Hussein. I mean, if things were so great in their own country, why did they need to come here? I don't understand that.
I don't understand. I have no desire to go there. I don't know.
No way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of problems with the United States of America.
Sure.
But this is the greatest country in the world.
Sure.
And there's nowhere else in the world that anybody, of any color, creed, race, religion, are going to have the opportunities they can have.
No, you can either sink or swim in this country. Every opportunity is available to you if you just know what to do with it. You have the education. You're right. It's great. What a great country.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. It's great. We're going to keep it that way. Thanks for the call.
Sure.
All right. Really, this is I love this country. It's great. Man, we were born here.
Edie's Grand Ice Cream wants to give you a big screen color TV and a year's supply of Edie's Grand Ice Cream just in time for Super Bowl 25.
Edie's Grand Super Sunday Ice Cream is available for a limited time only, so drop back to the supermarket. Bake wide up the ice cream aisle and pick up Edie's Grand Super Sunday. This stuff is great. It's got chunks of real brownies and fudge and is only one of the many unique and creamy flavors from Edie's Grand Ice Cream. Score with Edie's Grand Super Sunday, created especially for Super Bowl 25. Available only while quantities last at metro area Kroger stores.
Tell us about your passion for Edie's Grand Ice Cream.
This is a live special report from AP Network News. Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson. A busy morning in the Saudi Arabian cities of Dhahran and Riyadh. About 2 hours ago, Dhahran residents awoke to the blaring of air raid sirens. Reporters say the boom from the firing of a Patriot missile could be heard above, and several witnesses say they saw a flash in the sky indicating an intercept of a missile. Debris from the intercept fell near the Dhahran International Hotel, where many reporters are staying. We don't have any confirmation at this point from the military whether or not that was an Iraqi Scud missile. A few hours earlier, Riyadh, the Saudi Arabian capital, came under attack by an Iraqi Scud. AP's Richard Pyle was there.
It appeared to be only one missile came in, and it was knocked down by one Patriot missile battery that fired and knocked it out of the sky right above the city. This was seen by witnesses standing on the roof of the hotel where I'm located. It's a 12-story hotel near the Defense Ministry.
From Florida to Texas, defense workers are cheering the Patriot, a weapon that was almost canceled. Raytheon, the missiles developer, saw its stock rise $4.50 a share on the New York Stock Exchange Monday. Shares of other major defense contractors also rose sharply. It took about 15 years to develop the Patriot missile. The Allied bombing campaign against Iraq remains intense. There are varied and unsubstantiated claims on Iraqi casualties. An anti-Saddam Kurdish resistance group says the Iraqi military had almost 4,000 casualties in the first 3 days of the war. Iraq, the Iraqi government that is, says 40 civilians and 31 soldiers have died. Iraq's announcement that it is moving captured Desert Storm airmen to targets around the country is coming under attack from the Bush administration and from the International Red Cross. President Bush says Saddam Hussein will be held responsible for his treatment of POWs. This has been a live special report from AP Network News. Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson, and this is the Associated Press Radio Network.
AM-750 WSB monitors the Mideast war around the clock. Reports every 10 minutes, bulletins immediately on AM-750 WSB. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Jim's. Hey, Jim's, you're on AM-750 WSB.
How you doing, Dave?
Hey, good, Jim's.
All right, I've just ran across your station, monitoring the news from the Middle East, and I'm enjoying your talk show.
Thanks.
And I'd just like to say a few things about
Sure, go ahead.
New World Order.
Okay. What does it mean? Do you know what it...
Start with, I work with the Democratic Party in North Carolina.
Okay.
And as far as President Bush goes, I do not think that he is doing what's best for our country.
Okay.
It seems that this New World Order is in his own interest, and I think that he's pushing for his own fame and to write himself in the history books. I stand behind our troops in the Middle East, and I stand behind their courage and their loyalty to our country. And I think it's ridiculous for the people that are out protesting to do it now when they could have done it weeks ago before this thing ever took place. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Okay, well...
The reason I don't is you just said you think Bush is interested in putting his name in the history books.
Yes, I do.
And his own glory. So how maybe he's doing maybe this war, that's what the war's all about. Putting his name in the history books, and so what they're doing, maybe these people out there protesting agree with you and think, well, that's what Bush is trying to do. It's just ego. It's just an ego trip he's on. That's kind of what you're saying. So
well,
maybe they have the same views.
That's true, but I think that they're more or less against the whole situation, and I'm afraid that...
Shouldn't they? What if they're, who knows, maybe in 10 years or 20 years we'll find out maybe they were right. Maybe they should speak out.
Well,
this is America. What do you want, a rubber stamp from all the people? You just a blanket blindly follow? There are people out there who disagree.
And well, I understand that also.
So what do you want them to do? Just sit home and just keep it to themselves? I don't do it. I mean, I'm not going out there and laying down on a basketball court or anything like that. That's kind of goofy, but...
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you mean out there disrupting things?
That's what I'm getting.
Oh, you mean disruption?
People that are disrupting the public.
Yeah.
And I don't understand where they're.
But I think there are people out there.
But there's a few other things I'd like to touch on real quick.
Sure.
Okay. As far as the Patriot missiles go,
great things, aren't they? Great.
Well, to a certain extent, I was in the Navy for 4 years, and I worked with weapons. The Patriot missile only has a 45-degree range with a cone interceptor. Well, and they can only intercept missiles coming in at a certain range. If they were launched on a barrage, their effectiveness would be very limited. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that concerns me. And the biggest thing is there's going to be a lot of American lives lost here, and you know that. And it's just beginning.
Yes, I do.
And it's too bad this is all that had come about. As a friend of mine, Congressman Bill Hefner, said, he went against voting for the war effort, and only being that his reason was because we had not exhausted every effort in the sanctions.
Right.
It takes more than 5 months to build a house.
Right.
Let alone starve a nation into submission. And
I agree with that, Jim.
Yeah, and I think that we just jumped into this thing a little too fast, And I wish we could have just waited a little longer to see if these sanctions could have worked.
Jim, thanks for the call.
You're welcome, and thank you very much for your time.
Let's go to Mark. Hey, Mark, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, Dave, really like your show.
Thank you.
Number one, several points I want to make.
Go ahead.
First off, I really like your lead-in with Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think, were he alive today, he would strategically place his Stratocaster somewhere in Saddam Hussein's body. But anyway,
right.
Secondly, as far as the other Mark's comments, I think you ought to go put on a leisure suit and a Bee Gees tape and watch replays of the Immaculate Reception. But thirdly, as far as I've never been as angered as seeing the film and the tape from the prisoners. And I really think that type of propaganda is going to backfire on Hussein because...
What would you do? Answer me a question. Now, this is, I think what he's doing is horrible. Everybody says the Geneva Convention, right?
Right.
He should follow. I don't think this guy follows any rules at all, do you?
He has his own rules.
He has his own rules. He's not, this guy's breaking every rule in the book already. Why should he care about these rules? He's going to use these men to his best advantage.
Yeah.
Right. What would you do if a man flew across your neighborhood, dropped a bomb on friends of yours' house? Okay, let's say your sister's house. Okay, what would you do? And this guy all of a sudden he bailed out of his plane. What would your reaction be?
If he had?
Yeah, what would you do if some Iranian flew over your neighborhood in a plane? He dropped a bomb on your sister's neighborhood. He wiped out your sister and 3 of your closest friends. Well, and this guy, right over your house, he's bailing out and he's parachuting in your backyard. What would you do?
You must remember, I'm a civilian. I don't have to abide by the Geneva Convention.
What would you do?
Well, in all likelihood,
shooting.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping these men stay alive. That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
I'm thinking these men are hated. They're hated. We love these guys. They're ours. But over there, they're hated. I mean,
this is true, but
I mean, they are despised because they've dropped bombs on their neighbors, on their friends, on their loved ones. And I'm just hoping, man, I hope they stay alive. They're lucky to be alive, and I hope they stay alive.
Well, see, the unfortunate thing is they have been in military conflict before, and apparently have not followed any type of code at all. And
what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, as far as the Geneva Convention.
Oh yeah, no, they don't. Of course not. Why? They don't follow any. They don't follow any rules at all.
Why start anything at this point?
No, I mean, what? Yeah, right. No. Yeah.
And I'll probably irritate some people by this statement, but as far as the protesters, I do want to say this. I think that if the grapevine got hold of the fact that there was going to be a protest down at the Capitol for Groundhog Day, probably some people who had nothing better to do would print up pictures of the little rodent up in Pennsylvania and go down there and want to take part in the march.
Thanks for the call, Mark.
Nothing else to do.
Okay, Mark. See you later, Mark.
Thank you.
872-0750 outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB-TALK. I'm David Paul. You're listening to AM-750 WSB. Welcome back, David Paul here, 1:31 in the morning. Boy, it's cold outside. It is 23 degrees. It is cold. Overnight, clearing skies, breezy, and much colder. Lows 15 to 23. Later today, sunshine and cold, high up 36, low 17 to 23. The extended outlook Wednesday through Friday, partly cloudy with below normal temperatures. 23 degrees in downtown Atlanta. Man, that is cold. To the phones we go. Let's go to Carl. Hey, Carl, you're on AM 750 WSB.
Yeah, Dave, I'm a first-time caller.
Great, Carl.
Dave, I wanted to speak to you a little bit about what you were talking about earlier.
Go ahead.
First thing is concerning democracy in Iraq. I wanted to mention what happened when we put the Constitution in place first.
Right.
the first time we put the Constitution in place was at the end of the Revolutionary War.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the constitutional dollar that they tried to issue was worth about a penny.
Mm.
They put the Constitution in place, and within months, the country began to get itself together.
Right.
The people that could make the system work were found and put in place, and the system began to work.
Right.
It began to grow.
Okay.
At the end of World War II, what did we do with Japan and with Germany? With Japan, we had MacArthur over there rewriting their system, and he gave them a democratic constitutional system of government.
Right.
So in the 40 years since then, they have been able to take that system, which allows freedom for the individual, and build to the point where they are stomping us economically because they have both the Constitution and a very tight system of teamwork.
Right.
Germany also took the Constitution we developed and easily have begun to stomp us financially, just as Japan has.
Sure.
Now, so let's extrapolate. What would happen if we went ahead and put a constitution in place in Iraq?
They're going to tear us up eventually.
You think they would tear it up because of
no, they're going to tear us up. Eventually, they'll get organized, and in 20 years, they'll be a threat to us, somewhere or another, just like Japan and just like Germany, right?
Well, I don't know.
They'll steal our customers, and they'll build better products. No,
well,
who knows?
Very closely linked to the United States, and we'd have a great deal more.
Who knows what they'll do? Who knows?
To work with.
I don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
That's something I was thinking about. I was thinking about writing an editorial and sending it to 10 of the major papers in the United States and asking that question: what if we put a constitutional government in place in Iraq?
Mm-hmm.
As it is, we will be the victor, and to the victor go the spoils. But this is not a time to be vindictive, no matter how many of our boys get killed and no matter how much suffering there is here.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be vindictive.
Sure.
We have to think in terms of what's best for the nation. And what is usually best for a nation is fostering individual freedoms, which is something that isn't very popular over in Iraq or in any of the other Arab countries in general.
I don't think so, right?
And that's why I wonder what would happen. I wonder how well they could accept it if we put it in place.
Don't know. Thanks for the call. See you later. Let's go to Kevin. Hey, Kevin, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Kevin.
I hear you're taking a giant. I'll be sure to put my money on the bills. About these anti-war protesters.
Right.
I think half of them are just there to get on TV, and the other half are like born-again hippies and high school kids looking for an excuse to cut class, you know?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I haven't gone out there and talked to them. I don't know. I don't know what's behind it. I don't know if they're sincere. I expect you have some who are out there because they follow. Good, they follow. Their friends are going out there. But I expect there's a few out there who are really, seriously concerned.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Probably 5%.
Who knows?
And have you heard about Saddam's secret weapon?
Have I?
Yeah.
No.
The white handkerchief.
A white handkerchief. That's his secret weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later, Dave.
See you a lot later. To Diana. Hey, Diana, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, Dave, Paul. Welcome back to the airwaves.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Great. Dave,
Yeah.
look, that young man who just hung up, it would be nice if he would just live up to what he says. If he is so gung-ho about war, why isn't he over in the Persian Gulf fighting for this great country?
Mm-hmm.
I think all the real soldiers are over in the Persian Gulf, and the cowards are here with nothing to do but to complain about people who wish to exercise their freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
They're just cowards. They're blowing a bunch of hot air, and they apparently don't have much to do. I've heard individuals refer to the war protesters as pacifists.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider myself as a pacifist. Frankly speaking, I'm very active, and that I really with regards to this whole ordeal about war.
Yeah.
And the anti-war individuals who are protesting, they have representation also constitutionally and in the Congress. If you look at the way the Senate vote for all those morons that are out there, we do have 100 senators in the Congress, and out of those 100 senators, 53 of them did, however, vote in the favor of the president's decision.
Mm-hmm.
But there is another 47 senators who did not. I am very leery of these individuals who call in and call themselves Democrats, and they speak with so much reservations about war. It's really ironic to see how the Democrats in the House of Representatives have been bought out, brainwashed, indoctrinated, and of course, convinced to relinquish whatever power or whatever decent judgment that they have with regards to this war. If we have, we really no longer have a one-party system. As far as I'm concerned, there are Democrats who think as much like a Republican as there are Republicans who think as much like Democrats.
Sure.
We really need to get a third party going, maybe the Libertarian, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But another, and this is my last point, David Paul, and I'm out of here. The second caller for me, not the one before the guy who just hung up, he mentioned something about Japan and Germany. He mentioned something to the fact that their government rose economically as a result of allowing individuals to exercise their own freedom and rights and all this.
Wrap it up, Donnie.
Well,
Gotta go.
Okay, unfortunately, that has not happened here in America. Too many people in America have been denied their rights and their freedom, and it's time for them to exercise their rights.
Thanks. Gotta go.
This is a live special report from AP Network News. Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson. Air raid sirens are becoming a regular facet of life inside Saudi Arabia. Less than 3 hours ago, witnesses say they saw a flash in the sky and a dull explosion, apparently indicating a missile intercept by a U.S. Patriot. Small hunks of shrapnel from the intercept fell near the Dhahran hotel where many reporters are staying. Meanwhile, there are no immediate reports of injuries in Riyadh after Patriots knocked down 2 Iraqi Scud missiles there. The wreckage of one of the Scuds was found on a road at the outskirts of the capital city. The U.S. is warning Iraq, don't mess with American prisoners of war. A story from the AP's Brian Bland at the Pentagon.
The Pentagon says Iraq has not formally notified the U.S. that it's holding Americans prisoner, as it must do under the Geneva Convention. Pentagon official Pete Williams says 3 U.S. flyers do appear to be POWs. He says Iraq must feed them, treat their injuries, and move them to safe areas.
If the Iraqis are forcing U.S. prisoners of war to make statements under duress, coercing statements out of them, that would be a violation of the Geneva Convention. If they were subjecting them to ridicule, that would be a violation.
Williams says if the Iraqi government fails to ensure proper treatment of POWs, individuals could be charged with war crimes after the hostilities end. Brian Bland, AP Network News, the Pentagon.
Turkey's prime minister has confirmed that a major NATO base in southeastern Turkey is being used in the bombing campaign against Iraq. Use of the base is a political issue inside Turkey because some Turks fear that Iraq might attack them next. Meanwhile, the bombing goes on inside Iraq as day 6 of Operation Desert Storm continues. This has been a live special report from AP Network News, Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson, and this is the Associated Press Radio Network.
Updates are scheduled every 10 minutes on AM-750 WSB as we continue to cover the war in the Gulf. Let's go to, how about Ken in Texas? Hey, Ken, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Yes, sir. We're enjoying your signal out here in Texas. You're making a trip real good.
Good.
And we enjoyed that tape recording of, I don't know who it was, some guy over there talking about different things. You played this not too long ago. We had a good laugh out of that thing. Anyway, I was going to talk to you tonight about, I just wonder if you and your listeners out your way know that there's still 29 states that have calls for the Constitution Convention, and Georgia is one of them. There are 29 states that still have calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Delaware, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri.
They still have, okay. So what does this mean?
Well, when I was down in Florida, we got Florida would draw the call, and Alabama would do the call in '88, and last year Louisiana dropped their call, and Idaho Senate dropped it. Well, it's a threat to the sovereignty. What they wanted to pull on the people is have a convention, and God only knows what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And there were, if 34 states would call for it, it has to be opened up on Article 5 of the Constitution. And Article 5 of the Constitution states that the states may petition Congress for a convention, and it says nothing about, absolutely nothing about controlling it. And the state has the power to withdraw its petition for the Constitution Convention at any time before the 34 states have petitioned Congress for a convention. And the Supreme Court in 39 has taken a position that this amending process is a political issue in which the court will not intervene. And Congress cannot control a convention. Delegates ignored this in 1787, which enables them to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And they should write their state senators and their state reps and ask them to withdraw the call. It's just a plain threat. What they want to do is open it up. And God only knows what would happen if that would have happened.
Right.
And
wouldn't that be fun to see?
And they're talking about this world order. I hope that people understand what this nonsense is.
What is this nonsense?
Huh?
What is it?
Why don't everybody write Bush and ask him what it is?
What do you think it is?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's they're trying to vault this country into a one world government through the United Nations. These goons and thugs up there. And through the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission.
Is that wrong? A one world government? Is that wrong?
If it was run by God, it would be great.
Right.
And when he comes back, that's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing man could come up with under a one world make any sense.
Well, I mean, what about the government we have now in this country? Is that basically pretty good government?
It's excellent.
Okay, so
it's
why
the best thing man can come up with?
Yeah, but why are we so limited to think that maybe Bush has higher dreams and a world order? Why couldn't the same plan work globally?
If they would use our Constitution,
so what you're saying is our forefathers 200 years ago were smart enough to come up with something that worked, but we're not smart enough today to come up with something that would work globally.
And if you think boneheads like Kissinger and Scowcroft and
I don't know. I just feel like man is just I don't know. I trust Bush. I like Bush. I don't know if what he's doing is exactly right. Who knows? History will tell. I don't know.
As long as he upholds his oath to take care of the Constitution, and this is a republic. It's not a democracy, no matter what he says.
Right. But I don't understand. I don't know his plan. I'd like to assume, some ways I understand what he's doing, but I don't know the master plan, what he's up to. But, if he can put together a global system, a world order, great, good. We need it.
We should get out of the United Nations as soon as possible.
Oh.
And we got James Dale Davis and National Taxpayers Union fronting for this convention call, because we knew down in Florida we got it down through there, and he come in after it went through the Senate. I lived in the dean of the Florida Senate's hometown. And we plan on getting rid of it in 87. We finally got rid of it in 88.
Thanks for the call, Ken. Appreciate it. Let's go to Joe. Hey, Joe, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
Joe, you're up.
Just listen to your show. Hey, I just want to say that the only thing that irritates me more than a professional patriot is probably a professional protester. Both of them irritate me because I don't know, both of them can't realize that they're in America, and both of them are part of America. So the people who are patriots...
I think to a person who sits back on the couch and does not read the newspaper, does not watch the news, does not pay attention to go off, he is the one that's holding that hurts America. But I think either the patriot going out or the protester on the street, those are what America. That is what America's all about. The
Could I give
protest.
you okay, what about the person who reads, like you says, and is informed, and leads us straight right into another Vietnam? Probably. I mean, which one is worse?
I don't know.
You see, so...
Well, I don't know that that's happening now, but I can't... These people out there are protesting. To me, they are what America's all about. You may not like what they're doing, but in other countries, you can't do this. You'd be shot.
Exactly.
And so why are you... these people who'd be shot in another country, why are you condemning them for going out there? Unless they're out there damaging property or something. But I would think, congratulations. I mean, just... You have more... you have more drive than most people do. Most people just, they'll talk about it, but they won't do anything. These people are out there doing something.
I mean, because I've heard great arguments from both sides. And
right.
I just, Well,
see, that's the good point about it. From the protesters, you do hear arguments.
I'm like you. I'm in the middle. I don't even know what's going on.
But I'll be the first to admit, I do not. I like to think I know, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't really know why. In regards to world order, I was wondering if, like when George Bush signed saying that we can't drill oil in off, I think, the shores of Alaska, I think it is, for the next 30 years or so. I don't know specifically, but he signed such an agreement. I was wondering when this new world order comes about, are we going to do the same thing in Saudi Arabia, that the respect we have for our oil here, if we take over Iraq, will we drill their oil? Or will we sign similar orders? I mean,
who knows, Joe?
We're saving our oil and drilling theirs, and
that's good business, right?
That's great business.
Right. Okay. Thanks for the call, Joe.
Yeah.
See you later. 872-0750 outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB Talk. I'm David Paul. You're listening to AM-750 WSB. We go, and let's go to Mike. Hey, Mike, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hello, David.
Hello, Mike.
First of all, I'd like to start out on a low point here about the current air pilots that are being held hostage by Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
You said earlier that you'd really like them to stay alive. I don't know if you've really read much about torture, and I don't know what kind of experience you have had in pain. But from the looks of this guys over there, it's awful. I've read on torture. I think you ought to read a little bit. I think some of those guys are probably wishing and praying for death right now.
Oh, I think they look horrible. Yes, I agree. Well,
okay.
No, I don't wish any death. I mean, no, but I
don't wish for death.
They look like they've who knows what they've been through. Right.
I don't know. It's something to think about.
I've seen pictures that they're spreading around, and to scare American troops. Yes, but
yeah, it's Saddam playing with us. That's all.
Yeah, he's playing big time.
Okay. My solution to the current war. First of all, I am a protester. I said that earlier.
Right.
And I'm not a hippie. I don't wear tie-dyes. Don't wear beads. I take showers. I have long hair. I wash and I'm clean.
Sure.
And I love my troops.
Right.
I support President Bush as Commander-in-Chief. Although after this crisis is over with, I'm going to do everything in my power to get him impeached on the grounds of. Number one, he lied to us about taxes. Number two, he got us in a recession. Number three, he got us in a war that we really didn't need. But for right now, I'm supporting him as Commander-in-Chief because I know the importance of the...
How are you a protester now, then?
Excuse me?
How are you a protester now, then? You said after.
Now,
everything is based on after. What about right now?
Right now, I am protesting... basically, we have no energy plan. I want to. There's nothing I can do about the war now, Dave. It's there, and there's going to be people dying. And I don't see Bush drawing out of this right now. I don't see a real peaceful resolution coming out of it. If there one was to come up, I would support it wholeheartedly.
So are you out there picketing, or are you out there doing anything, or?
Not as much as I was before the war. I was getting involved in this back in August.
Sure.
After this first started, and I might add that I was like one of the only few young people who were getting involved back then.
Sure.
And after I noticed that, it just dropped my heart to see that no one else was getting involved with this. And then now, 3 days beforehand, we have all these 40,000 guys in San Francisco. I think you're right. A lot of these people are out there because it's cool, because they think the whole hippie thing is cool.
Oh, it's a good time to vandalize some stores and stuff. It's a good time to disrupt some businesses. I don't know. Who knows?
Some of that's uncalled for, Dave. But,
sure it is.
I think the people need to understand that us protesters are not protesting our soldiers, that we do love our soldiers a lot. And I hope that...
Well, it doesn't sound like you're really we're protester out there marching on the street or anything. It sounds like you're a protester in a way a lot of people protest. You want a better management. You want a better way of life.
Well, I'm going to
better
DC.
Energy system. That's it, right.
I'm going
energy
to DC this weekend, Dave, and I'm gonna show my support for our troops. And I'm also going to say that, look, this war was not needed. After this war's over with, Bush is getting out of office. We don't need another.
Right.
I was like the lady before. We need a libertarian in office. I really like the idea of that, getting a non-Republican, non-Democrat in
Mike,
office.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Let's go to Patrick. Hey, Patrick, you're on AM-750 WSB.
All right, Diamond David Paul.
Diamond David Paul. Yeah, what's going on, Patrick?
All right, man. I believe a little bit like Mark, man. You know, we've had one woman caller in the last, hour and a half?
Yeah.
What happened to all the new dancers, Dave? Come on, man. I mean, I know, hey, I agree. This is important, but so is nose hair, hairy-legged women and stuff. Got a joke for you, Dave.
You do?
Yeah.
What is it?
Why haven't you ever heard...
Thanks for the call. We can't put that on the radio, though. 872-0750, outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Let's go to Jason. Hey, Jason.
Yes,
Turn your radio down, Jason.
All right. The only reason President Bush went to war because Saddam Hussein would let President Bush sodomize him.
Brother, what am I dealing with here? What kind of element is calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning? All right, 872-0750, outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB-TALK. We'll be getting back to normal. It's just, there's news, people. There's news. What do you want to do, ignore it? I agree, though. It's as much coverage and as many talk shows are talking about it. I feel like there's a lot of repeat. What more can be said, right? But I haven't even been here. I haven't even been here for the last 5 days, so forgive me. Please. All right, after 2 o'clock, just tell me how you feel. What's on your mind? Is this thing weighing you down? I'm curious. But I do find myself glued to it. I am curious every single day. Every single day I wake up, first thing I do is turn on the radio and see if there's anything new. And I bet you do too. Some of you are saying you're tired of hearing, you're tired, but I bet any amount you listen for it every single day. Every single day. Just like I do. Every day. Because I do. And you do too. If you're an informed person. All right, I'm David Paul. Stick around. I'm here all night, as I am every night. AM-750 WSB.
In the outer counties to 23 in town. Then for your Tuesday, sunshine and cold, high only around 36, low 17 to 23, and the extended outlook Wednesday through Friday, partly cloudy with below normal temperatures, highs 38 to 43 and lows around 26. I'm meteorologist Kirk Mellish in the AM-750 WSB Weather Center.
WSB talk show host David Paul is next. I'm Bob Glasgow. And if news breaks out, we'll break in. This is Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station, AM-750 WSB. Depend on it.
Morning, everybody. Talking about what everybody's talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, it's not the north. Talking about what's going on out there. You know what's going on out there. I know what's going on out there. Well, George Bush keeps referring to this new world order, which I'm real curious about. The world needs an order, so I think it's great. What do you think? Does it bother you? Also, how do you want to end this thing? How do we end it now so it doesn't last for 2 more years? How do we end it? How do we let these people know they have no choice. How do we end it? How do we get them out of Kuwait? And how do we end it? I want to know. Do we go in there, like they said on 60 Minutes, like the arms dealer said, this is a, house-to-house, door-to-door, wall-to-wall search. That's what we're going to have to do. They're in every single house down there in Kuwait. Wow. How are we going to get them out without losing 50,000 people? How do we do it? How do we get them out? Protesters, I want you to tell me, how do we end it? How do we end it? You don't like it? How do we end it? What do you want us to do? I want to know. Let's go to, how about Brian? Hey, Brian, you're on AM-750 WSB. Hello? Bye. Let's go to, what is that? John? Hey, John?
Missed you the last few nights on the radio.
Sorry, what was that again? I didn't have the pod. What'd you say?
I said I missed you the last few nights on the radio.
Oh, yeah, good. Well, appreciate it. I just got back. I went to Florida. I got back this morning.
Took a little vacation?
Well, this afternoon. Yeah, I've been up since 6:30 this morning. We drove back. Took 7.5 hours. I'm not even with that on radio. He's a good friend of mine. I like him a lot. He's a good guy.
Well, anyway, David.
Yes.
We're talking about the prisoners of war in Saudi Arabia, in Iraq.
Right.
There's still prisoners of war in Vietnam. Get them out.
Okay. We need to get them out.
I think we do. We need to go to Vietnam and get them out.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we should. Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Where are the protesters, man? Go on, give me some protesters here. Let's go to Gene. Hey, Gene, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Oh, Dave, how you doing?
Hey, good, Gene.
The only way I know that you could possibly end the war, and that would be to end Saddam Hussein. I think that's the bottom line. I think he's the drive behind everything that's going on. I think he's the reason we were in Kuwait to begin with.
Right.
Which I've said all along was to instigate Israel into a fight where we would just cause one big ruckus. But that's not the main reason I called. The main reason I called is because you remember back when, during the presidential campaign of '88, and President Bush, or then Vice President, picked his running mate, that being Dan Quayle.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid nothing happens to George Bush while this is going on.
No kidding.
And
I agree with that. Could you imagine? Here you have this guy who avoided, who hid out, who I guess some people would label a coward. Could you imagine him in charge of all this? A coward in charge of our military?
I can't even imagine him running a printing company or a heating and cooling company.
No, I can't.
President,
you're right.
He looks silly sitting in the Senate, let alone sitting in the White House. That's all I wanted to say. And
yeah, you're right, though. He does. He looks silly and all of the above. Right. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, you bet.
I agree with everything there. Let's go to, what is that, Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Yeah, I really like what this last guy just said. He's really smart. Just think of all those reservists out there in Saudi Arabia. Oh, yeah, they're cowards, too, aren't they?
Who are?
You were saying Quayle was a coward because he was in the reserve?
What was he in?
National Guard reserves.
Are the National Guard over there now?
Yes.
The National Guard are over there?
We have people down here that are over there right now. I got friends in there.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know the National Guard was over there.
They're cowards, too,
No, though they're not. I did not know the National Guard was over there.
But you just said Quayle was a coward for going in the reserve.
I did not know. I didn't know. He hid out. I did not know. Is the National Guard over there?
Yes. The reserves.
Is the National... he was in the National Guard. Is the National Guard over there?
No, he was in the reserves.
Oh, he was in the National Guard.
No, he wasn't.
What was Dan Quayle in?
He was in the reserve, the Indiana Reserve.
Indiana Reserve.
I remember because they made such a big stink about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, but that ain't what I called about anyway.
Make this clear so everybody understands. What you're saying is Dan Quayle, he did not avoid going to the military.
He was in the military.
Oh, Dan Quayle was in the military. Okay.
That's right.
And which military was he in?
He was in the Army.
Dan Quayle was in the Army Reserves, right?
That's right.
And he joined up during the Vietnam War, right? Because he wanted to serve his country.
He was in college. A lot of people in college join the reserves.
Okay.
How do you know that the
I changed my whole outlook. I admire the guy now. Okay.
How do you know the propaganda that was going around then didn't affect his mind and think the war was bad? So how do you know?
How do I know why?
Remember, he was just a kid back then.
Yes, he was.
How do you know all what these?
But what you're saying is Dan Quayle
didn't affect his mind.
You don't think Dan Quayle hit out? You don't think he hit out in any way?
No, he hit out just as good as Jesse Jackson.
No, but okay. What do you mean just as good? Forget Jesse Jackson. Did he hide out?
No.
So what he did was
Everybody knew where he was. He wasn't in Canada or nothing.
no. But did he avoid the draft? Did he avoid going to Vietnam?
Did they call his number up?
Did they call his number up?
Yes. You have to be drafted. Your number has to come up for you to be drafted, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know if he was going to be drafted or not.
No. Okay. Well, I
right?
apologize. I admire the guy now. I think we need.
Oh,
I think we.
I'm glad
I think we need a man like that in charge of our military.
Now let me get to my real topic.
Mm-hmm.
These protesters y'all talking about.
Right.
I find they're not more interested in the First Amendment. I find that they're more greedy than anything.
Okay. Do I find them more greedy?
Yeah.
Not at all.
Because I saw they had some big to-do in Lafayette Park across from the White House.
Right.
And everyone they interviewed, they kept saying, well, that money could be sent to my group. This money could be sent to my group, you know? They didn't. They interviewed some Vietnam veterans. They were mad.
What group were they referring to?
What's that?
What group were they referring to?
If you talk to the gay groups, they wanted all the money to go to AIDS. If you talk to the feminist groups, they wanted it all go to women. They've had some old people saying the money could go to them. They even had some Vietnam veterans mad because if they have a whole bunch of new veterans come in, that'll push them to the back burner, and they won't be on the front burner anymore. I find that a lot of greed, if you ask me.
It sounds like a lot of greed. Thanks for the call. That was a very enlightening call. Thank you. Let's go to Mike. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, well, I'm a Vietnam veteran myself,
Right.
and the reason I called up is because everybody's talking about the Geneva Convention. First thing, the United States never even signed the Geneva Convention. So we're not part of that anyway. And the second thing...
We're not part of it?
No, we never signed the Geneva Convention.
Well, why are we
We're not a signatory to that.
Why is Bush using it then?
The same reason he uses anything else. It just sounds good. We're not a signatory to the Geneva Convention. And as far as the POWs, we ought to be happy they're showing them on TV because the ones they show, then we can keep a record of them.
That's true.
If they don't show them, then they're just going to do like they did our POWs and abandon them.
Right.
Because we've got guys that are still alive in Vietnam. Everybody knows that, and they've abandoned them over there.
Right. So that's good that they do
it's
show
a good thing that they're showing the ones on TV. Then now we have the visual record of who they really
Right.
have.
And then when this is all over, we just ask them, where
That's
are they?
right.
Right.
But
good point. Very good.
In a war, when you capture people, you're going to torture them anyway to get information out of them. Both sides do that. We'll be torturing some of theirs when we capture something that we can use.
Sure.
And you're right about it. If they were flying over your neighborhood and dropping bombs, you'd be pretty mad at them,
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. These guys we need to consider ourselves lucky if they're alive.
We ought to all pray for them. Really, it's a terrible thing.
Yes, it is.
To be in a war, and the worst part of it's not even got started yet. When the men really have to go out there and fight face to face and hand to hand. But we ought to really be praying for these men because they're going through hell right now.
I can't comprehend it. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine being shot at.
No, it's a bad thing.
I can't. I bet it is.
It's a terrible thing. And I was in the Marine Corps myself, and I know for any of those men to be saying what they're doing, they're under great duress because the military code of conduct and one thing and another, just their personal honor. They would never be saying what they were saying unless they really had them, under the screws. But
I agree.
But I myself, now I'm not really for this war either because I saw how the other war started.
Well, who's for a war? Who's for a war? Sometimes I feel
we seem to have a lot of people in this country that never experienced any type of war.
Right.
I've got two brothers myself, and they're younger than me, and they're all for it, and they're not going to have to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got a 19-year-old son, and I'm not sending him. You know, if they want him, they're going to have to come out here and get me to get him. You know, I'll take him to Canada somewhere.
Right.
You know, this war right here, it's not a righteous thing. And I don't know what the new world order is either.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like a one world government to me.
Sounds sort of like it to me too. Hey, thanks for the call.
Okay.
See you later. 872-0750 outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Let's check with AP and see if anything else is going on.
This is a live special report from AP Network News. Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson. Iraq fires some Scuds at Saudi Arabia, but once again, U.S. Patriot defense missiles saved the day. It was daylight in Dhahran when a Scud headed for that city.
WSB.
AP's Tony Winton describes what happened.
There was an exceptionally loud boom that was heard outside of this hotel. It was so loud, in fact, that it shook the building. I was having breakfast at the time, and the building literally quivered from the recoil of the forcefulness of this blast.
A few hours earlier, the capital city, Riyadh, woke up to air raid sirens. A Patriot knocked out at least one Scud, and sources say two others fell harmlessly in the desert. No casualties have been reported. A dramatic rescue behind enemy lines performed by the U.S. Air Force. More from the AP's Jerry Bodlander.
The rescue mission took more than 8 hours. Two Air Force fighter pilots flew deep into the Iraqi desert to locate the Navy pilot who had parachuted to safety after his plane was downed by ground fire. After calling in a helicopter to make the pickup, the two machine-gunned and set on fire an Iraqi truck that was heading straight for the rescue site. Captain Randy Goff says he's on cloud 9 after pulling off the rescue.
It's quite a feeling to know that your mission is to go to save a life, you know, instead of to take one out. And it's an indescribable feeling, and I'm glad he's safe now.
The two pilots had to refuel in the air 4 times and spend half of the 8-hour rescue mission over Iraqi territory. Jerry Bodlander, AP Network News in eastern Saudi Arabia.
Allied leaders are condemning Iraq for its treatment of war prisoners. An angry President Bush says Saddam Hussein will be held responsible for his actions. Iraq says it's moving prisoners to areas likely to be targeted by attack. However, earlier on Monday in Washington, an Iraqi diplomat claimed that the Allies were targeting Iraqi civilians. This has been a live special report from AP Network News. Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson, and this is the Associated Press Radio Network.
Checking in to help you. Remember to register with Selective Service at the post office. How? Well, old Mr. Memory's got just the trick you need. A simple little word that reminds you to register. Okay, you ready? The word is Serpotekel. Huh? That's S-S-R-P-O-T-E-Q-E-L. Serpotekel. SSR is for Selective Service Registration. PO is for post office. T is for 30, as in registering within 30 days of your 18th birthday. E is for 18. Q is for quick. E is for easy. And L is for law. Because registration's quick, easy, and it's the law. Okay, if you think you might forget it, make up a little memory song, just like this. Mary had a little Serpotekel, little Serpotekel, little Serpotekel.
When you turn 18, remember to register with Selective Service at the post office. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Come on, sing along with Mr. Memory. Mary had a little Serpotekel, a little Serpotekel.
We go, and let's go to Donnie. Hey, Donnie, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Morning, Dave.
Good morning, Donnie.
Man, I got a problem, and it deals with the Persian Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, at my school, they're not letting us talk about it. I mean, they won't let us say a word about, I mean, if we say anything about the Middle East or anything, they get on to us about it. They're saying, you know, that's not appropriate for school.
Why?
I don't understand it. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why? I mean, we got to talk about it on Thursday for 5 minutes in my social studies class.
You mean the teachers aren't going over this with you?
No, they won't let us talk about it. I mean, we want to talk about it, and they won't let us talk about it.
I have a girl in kindergarten who's coming home talking about it. No, that's weird. I would think they would use this as an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, a lot of people are scared, and mostly because, you know, sure we know what's being said on the news, but I mean, you know, it's driving us nuts because we can't discuss it with our friends or anything at school. And I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why they won't let us do it.
Why don't you just ask?
Well, I have, and they're like, you know, it's like they're ignoring me. They won't answer. It's like they don't have a reason. And I don't understand it.
Donnie, that's weird, Donnie.
No kidding.
I thought all schools were jumping on this.
No, and they're not letting us discuss it, and yet they have a television in the media center, you know.
For the teachers.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know, this is driving me nuts.
Well, you're in a middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're afraid it's going to terrorize you or something. You won't be able to sleep at night.
I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, you know, we're hearing it at home and everything, so why shouldn't we be hearing it at school?
I mean, you know. I just have your mother or something call the principal and ask the principal just out of curiosity.
Yeah, and also you're talking about the one world order.
Well, the world President Bush always he refers to the new world order, and I think the world needs an order.
Well, the way I understood it in my social studies class was that what that is like going back to, you know, we had one person who ran everything until he died, and then the next person in line of his family would take it back. You know, it's like kings, and going back to the days of kings and queens, where they ruled only it'd be all.
And that's what a new world. That's what you think a new world order would be.
That's the way they explained it. They said it was akin to that.
Who said that?
That's what we were told in our social studies class.
Your teacher's crazy. That's not what it's about at all.
I could have told you that, man. I mean,
yeah. So you say that's why they're not teaching you about what's going on in the Middle East. They're backwoods or something. Thanks for the call, Donnie.
All right, thanks, sir.
See ya. Let's go to Doug. Hey, Doug, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Doug.
Great show tonight.
Thanks, Doug.
Hey, I have a question for you, fully on the part of... Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you cut me off, Dave.
No, you're still here, but I don't mention any. I'm not mentioning any names or anything like that of commercials. I can't do that.
Okay. Well,
no, I can't.
That might be an effort solely from the Selective Service Commission. Might have put that out.
No, I can't discuss that at all.
Hey, I had a great idea for you. What? Is there any way you could put like everyone waiting to talk to you on a big party line?
Probably.
Three to a team or whatever, so we can discuss what we're going to argue with you about or whatever.
No, I can't. There's no way to do it.
Oh, come on, that would be great.
Well, that'd be neat if we could, but there's no way to do it. In fact, I've got a bunch of people holding now.
Yeah.
But no, how would I do it?
Yeah. You know, sometimes you can drag subjects into the ground. Do you hate when people call up and do that?
Happens all the time.
Sometimes, really?
Oh, God. What are you going to do? Well, I feel like right now in this, see, the Middle East, this is ruining me. Let me tell you, it's ruining me. The reason I think it's ruining me, I like to come out here and play on the radio. My goal on radio is just to waste as much of the night as possible on some just nonsense but fun, you know what I mean, legit topic, but just something that is kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
But real. That's what I like to do. But because of what's going on in the Middle East, I can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. You can't. That is the only topic out there right now.
Yeah. I guess it's such a serious one that it's on people's minds.
Yeah, and I can't come out here and play. You have to be serious about. Yeah, you can't. Yes, but I wish this war would end and we could go back on with our lives.
Do you know, I was protesting before it started.
Mm-hmm.
And
are you protesting now?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I guess I would have to back my point of view. Some folks out there, you know.
Right.
Well, I was hoping they would have some kind of peaceful resolution, like really push all these sanctions to the limit. Apparently they weren't working, but...
Right.
But so after it started, now it's much, much too late.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my brother's in the Army over there. And I think you have to, the whole country, we must pull together and just give complete, total, unabridged support.
Right.
And that's for the sake of ending it as soon as possible with the maximum cooperation and agreement, and lose as few lives as possible.
Right.
You know, but I don't know.
A few nights I won't be needing this stuff. I don't even have any coffee mugs to give away.
Yeah.
The station is running low because so many have been given away, so I'm having to hold off for a while until I get some more forms.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doug.
Well, listen, Dave, your show's great, and it's progressively improving and just unbelievable. It gets better and better all the time.
Well, thank you, Doug.
My main form of entertainment.
Appreciate it. See you later, Doug.
Yeah, take care.
All right, 872-0750, outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB Talk. I'm David Paul. You're listening to AM-750 WSB.
This is Susan Sullivan. A natural disaster often means many families have nothing left. That's why your local Red Cross chapter needs you to call 1-800-372-2626 and help sponsor just one night of family emergency care. It's only $25, but it could help provide shelter, food, and clothes. Please call 1-800-372-2626 and pledge $25 so your local Red Cross will be ready.
And now a word from Drug Emporium and Fiberall.
You know, I literally wouldn't leave the house. It was so bad. It was a couple of weeks ago, and I was supposed to have lunch with a girlfriend, but I canceled. You know what it's like, putting your life on hold for constipation?
To the phones we go, and let's go to Pam. Hey, Pam, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Good evening, Dave. How you doing?
Good, Pam.
Or should I say good morning?
Yeah, say good morning. Yeah.
I'm usually not up this late, but it just happened to be this evening.
Good.
I say I could probably talk to you all night long, but basically I'll kind of tell you where I stand.
Okay.
I was really against the whole war thing from the beginning.
Right.
And I'm really a non-violent kind of person. And I prayed up to the very last moment that this wouldn't happen, but the reality, as we all know, is here.
Right.
And I just feel as Americans, there is nothing that we can do but back our men over there. I mean, I think it's a shame if we don't.
It is. I feel sort of the same. I was against it too. I did not want us to fight. You know, who wants to do that, right? But now we are involved. We have to support it.
We have to.
We have to support it, and yes. But I feel like it is a failure when you have to do this.
Oh, yeah.
But we are involved with it now, right.
I still stand strong on the idea that I feel that this should have been handled on a UN level, that the United Nations somehow could have handled this.
Right.
I say I'm a nonviolent person, but then, in effect, I say, why could we not go in there and somehow get Saddam Hussein and spare hundreds or thousands or however many lives are going to have to be killed over this?
I agree.
I mean, are we not assassinating people by throwing bombs? Is that not assassination?
Right. You're right. I don't know. I think the same way. I would think the CIA or whatever could just one day real simple.
I mean, it happens.
I'm sure it happens.
That happens all the time, and they don't publicize it because this was such a big thing. Who made him who he is today? They don't want to fess up to it. The American government, along with a lot of other governments, made this man who he is today.
Well, maybe for some reason there's been a master plan. We were setting him up so we could knock him down.
Well, that could be true.
I don't know. We don't want to hit an unarmed opponent. So let's give him some arms so we can knock him down.
I have found myself I feel like from listening to you that, I've become a sponge in the last week to the television.
So am I.
But like I'm soaking it up. I have disowned my husband and children.
But it's weird. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting irritated. Not irritated, but just I feel like I'm not bored with it. Bored. I'm thinking just gee whiz. It's just. But I can't get away from it.
Yeah, but let me ask you this.
I can't turn it off.
Yeah. How much can we believe?
Who knows?
Yeah. It was like I found myself becoming very gullible, and then I started wondering when I would hear contradictory.
Well, this is what bothers me. Okay, this is now you see, from in Saudi Arabia, they are censoring what comes across, what goes on the media, right?
Right.
They are censoring it, whatever comes out of Saudi Arabia. Well, how do we know that our government is not telling the Saudi Arabian government, we do not want this, we do not want the Americans to see this, and this, and this, all right? So then the Saudi Arabian government tells the reporters, we do not want you to publicize this, this, and this. So our own government is censoring what you and I say.
Right.
So that we will only see what our government wants us to see. How can you trust? You can't trust anybody.
I agree with that.
So you don't know when they say 80% accuracy, for all we know it's 10%. We don't know.
Right. That's true, because, from the very beginning, we're talking, what do we have, like 24 hours total straight coverage I think for the first 2 days, it was nothing but total coverage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying to myself? Why are they doing this? Any information that they give can be gotten by anybody. Why do they want to put all this coverage on? I mean, granted, we need to know things, but, like, it was like all of this, and then I started hearing all this stuff about, how we've got this fantastic air superiority, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think they know Saddam Hussein, who he really is. He's going to sit back. I mean, he's got stuff up his sleeves that I think a lot of people don't know about.
Well, he's just, I think
we don't need to get cocky.
The guy is dangerous.
Yeah.
He is, I think he's mentally, he's not, I don't know what, he probably looks at himself in the mirror, thinks he's looking at God, who, you know what I mean? Who's superior to all mankind, and I think his people are ready to die for him.
Oh.
And, I mean, just really ready to die. And this guy's dangerous. I mean, he's a terrorist. I don't know. It is scary.
We all need to be afraid of him. I mean, seriously. It's just one of those things.
Yes.
You just don't know what he's going to do next.
Who knows? But you will be listening to your radio, and we will be the first to tell you. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
See you. Let's go to Bill. Hey, Bill, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Dave.
Hey, Bill.
One thing I want to say before I get to a couple of points.
Sure.
The gentleman that called you a few minutes ago and said that we wasn't a member of the Geneva Convention.
Right.
Well, he's dead wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We've been a member of the Geneva Convention ever since its inception in World War I.
Okay.
We're contributing members to the Geneva Convention.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one thing I pick up is I've been listening to radio and television since the night they attacked.
Right.
Maybe got about 4 or 5 hours sleep.
Really?
In one night. But I've heard a lot of people talk about Bush lying. Even you, I think, had mentioned a couple of times.
About lying about taxes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you can't trust any government official. I don't think you can.
No, let me say this.
Okay.
They're taking 3 words that he said in a speech on television out of context.
Right.
He was talking about industrial taxes and personal income taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a copy of his speech. And if anybody had listened to the whole speech, they would have seen this. Now, he got down to where he had to have some taxes, but he did not put it on the general public, taxpaying public. Or did he put it on the manufacturers? He put it on what he needed to put it on. And number one, don't make any difference what gas goes to. People are going to buy gas.
Right.
But taxes on cigarettes and liquors, man, it was well placed.
I agree with that.
Because here's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thought, well, here we got some cigarette-smoking alcoholics who's out there driving their car.
Mm-hmm.
And he got the taxes exactly where they're supposed to be.
Right.
Because if you don't want to pay those taxes, quit smoking and drinking.
Yeah, you have a choice, right?
Right. Now, under your new world order, I think it's a great idea, and I agree with you. I think it'd be beautiful if we could have it.
Sure.
But if you come nearer moving the Statue of Liberty to Lake Lanier next week at 2 o'clock on Tuesday than you would getting the new world order because of Castro, the Russian government.
Well, here, explain that a second. Let me put you on hold a second, all right?
All right.
I got to go to an AP news break here, see what the latest is. Let's check in together, people.
This is a live special report from AP Network News. Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson. The U.S. Central Command says there have been 3 Iraqi Scud attacks in the last 12 hours. We do not have much detail on the first one. However, the second one we know a lot about. It came in Riyadh, central Saudi Arabia. The AP's Richard Pyle was there.
The Patriot missile battery fired, making the sound of the sonic boom that rattles buildings, and then within a matter of seconds there was a second series of explosions, a kind of a rolling thunder, which was the missiles hitting the Scud, which was right above the city.
The third attack happened just a few hours ago in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. Once again, a Patriot missile knocked off at least 1 Scud missile. A couple of others fell harmlessly outside the city. Meanwhile, President Bush is getting on the Iraqis for alleged mistreatment of American POWs. That story from the AP's Wendell Guller.
Iraq's mistreatment of downed Allied pilots won't lead the U.S. to do the same, the president says, and using them as human shields won't change the bombing plan. But Bush told reporters on his return to the White House from Camp David he is angry, as are other world leaders he's talked to.
I would make the strongest appeal that these people be treated
properly. Bush said you can count on Saddam Hussein being held accountable. There was no word on a possible United Nations protest, though the U.S. has protested to Iraq. Aides say the president still feels overall the war against Iraq is going well. They denied that U.S. officials had claimed earlier to have destroyed all of Iraq's fixed missile launchers. Wendell Goler, AP Network News at the White House.
Pentagon officials say one thing Iraq is doing well is using decoys to make it harder to find Scud missile launchers. Decoys and bad weather have been getting in the way of the Allied operation and knocking out those Scuds. This has been a live special report from AP Network News, Crisis in the Gulf. I'm Sean Anderson, and this is the Associated Press Radio Network.
Updates are scheduled every 10 minutes on AM-750 WSB as we continue to cover the war in the Gulf.
How passionate are you about Edie's Grand Ice Cream? Do the creamy and unique flavors of Edie's Grand make you more than a little crazy? California Crunch and chocolate chips, cookies and cream in a scoop or a dip. Tell us about your favorite Edie's Grand Ice Cream flavor in your own Edie's Grand commercial. Record it or just write it down and send it to Edie's Grand Commercial at 1601 West Peachtree, Atlanta 30309. You could win a big screen color TV just in time for the Super Bowl and a year's supply of Edie's Grand Ice Cream, but do it today. Entry deadline is Wednesday.
Why do I give blood? Jim, he's my husband. He was walking back to the office one day when suddenly he collapsed. It was lucky a friend was there to catch him. It was his heart. The doctor said Jim's arteries were blocked. He needed a quadruple bypass, and that can take a lot of blood. They let me see Jim in the recovery room. There were ugly tubes coming out of him, and he looked so gray and helpless. But he was alive. And I thought, dear God, I've never seen anything so beautiful. Jim was lucky. But there are other Jims who'll need blood, so every couple of months I give some. And I think we're pretty lucky, Jim and me.
When was the last time you gave blood? A message from the National Blood Resource Education Program.
Welcome back. Dave Paul here. What is the weather like? Clearing skies tonight. Breezy and much colder tonight. Lows 15 to 23. That's overnight. 15 to 23. Later today, sunshine and cold. High of 36. Low 17 to 23. Wednesday through Friday, partly cloudy with below normal temperatures. Now 22 degrees in downtown Atlanta. Let's go back to Bill. Hey, Bill, wrap it up, Bill.
Okay. All right. One thing I wanted to say to you was this. I've heard a lot of people call in about this. I heard you one night before you left the air to go to Florida.
Right.
You said if Bush don't go in there when that past midnight, he'd prove to be a paper tiger.
Right.
People don't know this, and you have no reason to know it really, but they cannot just take off and go in. Mm-hmm. Who's the first person that they talk to before they make an invasion? Do you know?
Who was the first person they talked to?
That the commanding generals and all talk to and listen to before they go into an invasion.
President.
No.
Who?
The meteorologist.
Meteorologist.
It was raining on the 15th. Our planes
right.
better.
Okay.
In dark.
Right.
And that's the reason they waited until the time came. And when they came in there, now they're not committing our ground troops for the simple reason they want to knock out enough installations and operational installations in order to cut costs of men. Now, I went in the Army in 1939 and retired in 74. I spent 3.5 years in Europe in World War II.
Right.
And I was wounded. I had a brother that was killed, and I had another older brother that was wounded. We both stayed in. The two of us came back until I stayed in 73, and he got out in 72. But we went to Korea, both of us. And what I want to say is that I've heard so many people say, and I had it asked to me the other day, what are you giving? Well, I've already given, and I also am still giving because I have a son who's been in the Army 23 years, and he's a regimental commander in the 24th Infantry Division.
Right.
And my oldest brother's son has been in 24 years, and he pilots one of those F-15 Eagles. Mm-hmm. So we're still giving.
Sounds like it.
And I'd like to see these protesters. I don't mind them walking around with signs and protest. That's their right.
Sure.
But when they get violent, our Constitution agrees them peaceful assembly. That's all they guarantee you.
Well, when they get violent, they're doing what they're condemning.
They are violent, man. And I have a short wave. I'm a ham operator. And I talked to some people in Frisco. And, man, they're burning cars. They're knocking windows out of businesses and stealing.
They're being hypocritical. They're just clowns out there horsing around with nothing better to do, those people.
But you know what he told me? He said there's a bunch of people who protest no matter what happens.
Sure.
And they are leading these people who are just protesting the war.
Right. Thanks for the call.
Okay, buddy. Thank you now.
See you later. Let's go next to Kris. Hey, Kris, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Dave, you scud you.
Hey, Kris in Milwaukee. What's going on? Scud? What do you mean scud?
You're a scud.
Scud?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Tonight? What do you think I'm talking about?
Now I know what you're talking about.
Thank you. What's going on, Kris?
Well, I wasn't a protester before, but now I am.
You are?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, the other day I was watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great movie. It was like Planet of the Apes, Part 10.
Right.
And CNN had the nerve to cut in.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And this New World Order, I like their music.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good. But
right, Kris.
And also, though, people are talking about how we should just kill Saddam Hussein.
Right.
But, you know, it's really not that easy. Because a lot of people tried to assassinate Hitler. And, you know, we were unable to do it.
Sure, sure.
So
we're smarter now, though.
Well, you know, I don't know. Then someone would come after George Bush.
Sure. Well, they probably are anyway.
But it's, you know, I don't think it's that easy.
No.
And the guy could be hiding anywhere.
Yeah, right. With a very limited staff. I mean, very limited. People around him and close to him are probably very trusted and family and everything else.
Oh, I'm sure they are. They're terrified of him.
Right. Well, I mean, he's right now. No, he knows people are going to be after him. He's not going to be around 30 and 40 people at a time, I don't think.
Oh, no.
No, he'll have 3 people, and those 3 people will you know, determine who sees him and who won't see him, and that's what I think. Don't you think?
Yeah.
He's going to be very careful. He knows that.
Oh, definitely.
He knows that.
And also, I don't think we need a draft because, at least for me, I mean, I feel like I'm there. It's just this oversaturation of the news.
Yes, it is.
And
do we need? Right, I agree. Well, we need new news when it happens, but rehash and rehashes, right?
Well, it's true, and you get conflicting reports.
Right.
And it's hard to know what to believe. I understand that they can't reveal too much, but you know, sometimes I don't know.
Well, the thing,
if they're revealing enough.
Well, some of these people that are over there, they can only reveal what the government allows them to reveal.
Right, that's true.
And their government, and the Saudi Arabian government, may be just the pawn of the United States government. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay, and one other thing.
Yeah.
People are saying that we shouldn't protest, that we should support, I guess, to try to keep this positive attitude going.
Right.
And that might be true, but I think we should remember that it's not necessarily always the case, because also in like World War II, you know, if people had that attitude of, you know, we have to support our boys, then a lot of people would have supported the SS, which they did, you know, because they were concerned about their own. And it wasn't a good war.
Thanks for the call, Kris. Okay. Bye. 872-0750 outside of Atlanta, 1-800-WSB-TALK. I'm David Paul. You're listening to AM-750 WSB.
Reaching for that dream that spells tomorrow. Well, another generation is a-coming on. I see America working harder every day to educate her people to live a better way. Hey, wouldn't you like to feel another shoulder at the wheel? If you help me join the line, you pull your weight and I'll pull mine. Hey, you know, we share some wonderful dreams. Please help turn these dreams into realities. Please give to the United Negro College Fund. We want to give our best. Please understand. We're not asking find out just a hand. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Edie's Grand Ice Cream wants to give you a big screen color TV and a year's supply of Edie's Grand Ice Cream just in time for Super Bowl 25. Stay tuned.
Listen up, Super Bowl fans. Larry Munson here. Edie's Grand Super Sunday Ice Cream is available for a limited time only, so drop back to the supermarket, bake wide up the ice cream aisle, and pick up Edie's Grand Super Sunday. This stuff is great. It's got chunks of real brownies and fudge and is only one of the many unique and creamy flavors from Edie's Grand Ice Cream. Score with Edie's Grand Super Sunday, created especially for Super Bowl 25. Available only while quantities last at metro area Cub food stores.
Tell us about your passion for Edie's Grand Ice Cream. Write or record your own Edie's Grand commercial. Make it as crazy as you want. California crunch and chocolate chip, cookies and cream in a scoop or a dip. Send your commercial to Edie's Grand Commercial at 1601 West Peachtree, Atlanta 30309. But hurry, entry deadline is Wednesday. No purchase required.
David Paul here, 22 degrees outside. To the phones, let's go to Bruce. Hey, Bruce, you're on AM-750 WSB.
Hi.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, hello? Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Good.
Yeah, number one, I'm protesting the war. I'm not against the troops. I'm getting sick of hearing on the radio and on TV that people, they're saying protesters don't support the troops or are gonna, hate the troops or whatever. My reason for opposing and protesting this war is because I'm for saving the blood of American boys for what we're fighting for over there. As far as the new world order, I don't know what that's about. I mean, I know Hitler had a new world order. I know Martin Luther King had a new world order. I don't know where Bush stands. What is his new world order?
So what you're saying is you're protesting because Bush hasn't sat down with you and explained all this to you?
No, not sat down with me.
Well, what you're saying is you're protesting because you don't understand.
I'm protesting the shedding of American boys and men, shedding their blood for oil or whatever over there. I think we cannot continue, with the deficit and stuff. We cannot continue to be the world's policeman. Saddam Hussein, all these experts are saying Saddam Hussein, is a madman. I've heard Jimmy Carter was saying that, he's off the wall a bit, but he's pretty intelligent. It seems like, he's getting by a lot of our surveillance and that. And you wanted to know what the protesters' solution would be. I'll give you that in just a moment. I just want to say there's a lot of protesters out there. I think there's groups. I don't know about them. There's individuals that are greedy, I believe. Right.
All right. What's your solution?
The solution, I believe, is what happened is we got backed in a corner, and I think he got backed in a corner.
Well, that's not a solution. That's what happened yesterday. What's the solution?
What I'm saying is we got two egos here, and I think if Bush, all these other countries that are not aligned with the coalition right now, or the allies or whatever, are wanting to mediate peaceful agreement. Now, Hussein has got a taste of what we can do with our Air Force, and we are throwing bombs down there, so we're doing something.
What is your solution?
Okay, my solution is for somebody to negotiate with him. Now, there has been previous negotiations, but in order
what if he says, get out of my country? No, I'm not going to negotiate with you.
Well, the whole point of the previous negotiations, in a negotiation, you have to give something on either side.
So what you're saying is we have to give something to him, or the United Nations has to give him something.
No, well, yeah, give him something so he can leave there without losing faith, faith with the Arab, what he calls the Arab nation.
So his terrorist action, it would be profitable, but not as profitable as he wanted it to be.
Yeah, right. At first, what he wanted, like before this war started, if you remember and stuff, he wanted a $4 increase in.
No, you know what it sounds like. I get the impression that you think you could be a better president than Bush could be.
Oh no, not at all.
You have better
solutions. I think the man is very intelligent.
But,
I think he's fantastic.
Everything you've said from the beginning, though, is just because you didn't understand, because you're protesting, because you just didn't understand.
No.
But I think a lot of us don't really understand.
Right. But you just said before, most politicians are crooks.
Sure.
Or lie or whatever.
Sure.
I'm not sure your exact words. I don't want to misquote you.
Well, I think that's pretty close.
But what I'm saying is to get to the highest place, to the highest office in the country, you got to be a pretty good tightrope walker, and you got to have a pretty good head on your shoulders.
Sure do.
Yes, I believe the president has our best interest at heart.
So do I.
Okay. Now, and I believe that he's a good man, and he's doing what he believes in. I think Hussein is doing what he believes in, and it's distorted.